Hey everyone, welcome to the Bitcoin Miners Investor Support Group. Has your Bitcoin miner given you trouble over the last couple of weeks? Has it been beating you down? Has it been getting in the way of your profits? Welcome to the support group. We are here to help. At least I'm here to help as best as I can in this environment that we're in right now. So welcome back everyone. Thanks for coming in. We're going to talk about a couple of things here tonight. Obviously Bitcoin was down today, miners were down again, some more. So there's some more fear in the market, I think, happening right now. I still think Bitcoin's going to do very well going forward, but we're going to have to pull back a little bit more, I think. We have that to talk about. We'll talk about also, should the miners that HODL be valued 2x on the HODL itself, plus whatever their operations are. Penny Ether had a great post today on it. We'll go over that a little bit. I'm not going to go into details. You guys are more than welcome to look at it. But I think there's a lot of things that I agree with him on that. But there's one thing that I kind of disagree with him. So we'll talk about that as well, and we'll get into the miners here. We got Bitdeer, Hive, Hut8, and that concludes all the miners reporting for the month of December there. So once we get through these guys tomorrow, we'll probably look at how did they compare to each other for the month of December. All right, so that's it, and then we'll get into Q&A as always. So you guys know the drill, right? Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Invest in the following coins and companies. Full disclosure, as always. Subscribe, hit the like button, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin today. It was another lackluster day, you could say, easily. Bitcoin was down today quite a bit. It was down 1.97 at the end, but it was down almost like 4%, I think, towards the bottom here. So it went to a low of 92,500, a nice even number there. It closed at 95,036 and 63 cents. We are down a little bit more in the new day here. We're down 0.87%. We are at 94,200 right now as it is. Everything was down for the most part on the miners. Markets, for the most part, were up today. Markets are going to be closed tomorrow in observance of Jimmy Carter passing, right? So the markets are going to be closed tomorrow because of that. I'm surprised that they're closing them because of that, but it is what it is. So we won't have any trading on the miners. So that's why we'll probably get into how did the miners do in comparison to December for everyone. On that one, the miners, like I said, were down. MicroStrategy was also down a little bit here. Bitfarms is down 4%. Bitdeer was down 5.7. Cypher was down 6.3. Cleanspark was down 5.8 almost. CORZ was down just a 0.5%. So that one's fared the best here, along with Hive here being down only 0.32. Hut was down 5.4. IREN down 7.6. Mara was down 3.83. Riot was down 3.14. Came back up here, was down more than that. And Wolf was down 10.11%. Smaller miners were down as well. The ETFs were down as well. Everything was down. What's going on with the market? What's happening here? I mean, looking at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin is still up tremendously from where it was just 6 months ago, right? We had a nice rally here up to 108,000, and then we've been kind of trading more or less in a range, more you could say, between 102,000 and roughly 92,000. So we've been kind of trading in that range. If that range doesn't hold, like I said before, we might be going down to like 85, 75 at the bottom. I think that would be a 30% correction from 108,000. So that's not out of the question. We had that here happening here recently. I keep talking about this. And in historical cycles, we've seen it as well. We got to 73,000 back in, when was this? Oh, doesn't want to go that far. There it is. It was back in March, right? From that time frame, we were trading sideways as well for a long period of time here before we bottomed out here back in August. So that was roughly 144 days of trading where we went down 33%, but we finally went down to 30%. And then we finally started to go back up here a little bit, even though we traded sideways for a little bit more, and then finally started to go up on it. So that's happened before here. This is not the first occurrence of this. If you haven't been through prior cycles, yes, this is jarring and it is uncomfortable and it is unbelievable and all those acronyms, whatever you want to use on it, it is a pain. But we're not done yet. I don't think we're done. I don't think 108,000 was the peak here. And the reason I don't think that is because of all the adoption, everything else. There's just much more to come, I believe. So I'm still bullish long-term here in the next 6, 9, 12 months potentially. With Bitcoin, we could also see an extended cycle if this plays out differently, if we play out the same way that kind of the gold ETFs played out. That was a multi-year cycle for those things. Could this be the same thing for Bitcoin? Possibly. We don't know on that. Okay. As far as anything else is concerned, I think that's all I wanted to really share with you guys. It's just got to be patient. We're going to run through this process. We are probably going to go down even more, I think. I'd love to be wrong on that. I'd love for us to just, have the 15% correction, whatever we've had already. If we look at it from 108,000 here roughly down to the bottom, what was it, 15%, 15.5% roughly here. So I'd love that to be it, but for some reason, I keep thinking that that's not the end of it yet. I think there's more pain to be had here going forward. We'll see what some of the economic data comes out later on this week, what that tells us, and that might move things a little bit more. So we'll see. Okay. In the meantime, Bitcoin is up so far for January here only 1.69%. Not too bad. We're still in the green at least a little bit here. We'll see where we end up at on January. January historically has been a mixed month for us. It's like 50-50, whether it's green or red. So we have a 50-50 chance of being in the green or in the red here. So we'll see how we end up in January. There's really no positive sign. Usually February is a much better month here. We can see here that February historically has had only 2 negative months on it. So we're hoping for a much better February, depending on how January ends. But January is just still starting, right? We're only 8 days into it. We still have a ways to go. We'll see where it ends up at. Next year, let's talk about HODL, and should that be valued at 2x valuation? So Penny Ether, if you guys don't follow him, definitely give him a follow. He's on X. This is his handle, at Penny_Ether. Great guy. Definitely does his due diligence on things, and he's very, I would say, not only conservative, but also very contrarian on some things in his thinking, which is a good thing because you need somebody like that to kind of make you think, right? And he definitely makes you think with all of his analysis and things like that, which is great. So I agree with a lot of things he said in here as far as when it comes to, like, he was using Mara as an example here, but it goes to say for all the miners that HODL anything, should they be valued on their HODL 2x of what JP Morgan says, right? You can see it here that even Mara has provided that 2x JP Morgan Chase multiple would be equal 8.4 billion on their 4.2 billion in HODL reserve. All right, so that's kind of, they're even using that from JP Morgan. And he goes on to say here quite a bit. It's a long post. I'm not going to go through it all, but I'm going to go over some of the first 4 points that he makes here. So consider the base case, a company with a pile of cash, lending it to Uncle Sam for around 4.5% risk-free. You'd probably value this cash at exactly 1% or 1x, right? And I tend to agree with that. Now consider Mara's case, a company with a big HODL, and they lend a fraction of it out with some risk in short duration for maybe a point or two above 4.5%. Sounds awfully similar, right? So this is currently uninteresting given the short duration and small amounts, right? So there's going to be some value in that, but should that be valued at 2x, right? That's a good question there. There's also absolutely nothing special about BTC in this case, seeing as your counterparty could borrow fiat to buy BTC. The only savings they get is from not moving the market price. Okay, so that's what the lending of Bitcoin goes into. Number 3 here, the rate of Mara gets will be proportional to risk. Want a higher treasury yield? Simply lend to riskier parties. Want to demand a higher interest rate for less risky parties? Well, it's a marketplace and somebody else will underbid you, which is true. So number 4, there is zero growth story here, which implies a very low multiple. The only thing to grow is number 1, and even at 100% lending, you have the problem of 2 and 3, right? Which is true. So this is very, very true in this case. The HODL that they do have, lending it out, okay, you're getting some yield for that, right? You're going with probably good counterparties there, very risk, I would say not risk-free, but very low risk, right? So you're not going to be making a huge yield on it. And so why should these guys get valued at 2x? Based on these reasons, they shouldn't, right? The only thing we can think of here, and there's a lot more that he goes into it, right, that they could use, but they get BTC yield from mining, right? So they could be mining it. How much could they yield on that? They could also buy hash rate. He goes into all that, what it would take for it. Then also he goes into some other things here as well, but they could also issue notes to buy BTC, right? So he goes over all these different scenarios, pointing out how much it would actually cost and all those things and why those are not that tangible or able to get to that notion there. But the big thing here, I think, right now with Bitcoin is that a lot of us and a lot of people in the industry believe that Bitcoin's going to be going to like 200,000, right? If you believe that Bitcoin's going to do that, then I think it's fair to say, okay, from this point on until Bitcoin gets to like 200,000, that would be like a 2x. So I can see that portion where JP Morgan Chase might think that, but I think as Bitcoin price goes up more in value, I think you have to cut that multiple lower, unless you believe that Bitcoin's going to get to 200x, and then from there it's going to go to 400 or 200,000, then go from 200,000 to 400,000, which would give you another 2x on top of it. Which I don't know if anybody believes that Bitcoin's going to do that this cycle, going from, next to 200,000, and then beyond that, it's going to go to like 400,000, where you get another 2x. If you believe that, okay, you could say leave it at 2x continually. But I think a better way to do this, maybe, and maybe I'm wrong on this, is if you think Bitcoin's going to 200,000, value it at 2x. If you think Bitcoin's going to 150,000, value it at 1.5x, right? So that way, as Bitcoin price also goes up, you're decreasing that multiple down as you get to your price, basically price target of Bitcoin, because there's really no good way to do it. Yes, MicroStrategy has historically gotten at least a 2x valuation on top of it, and I think it's mainly because of people believing that Bitcoin will go up to, 2x. Sometimes it also gets a little overexcited and goes like to 3x of what their HODL is. So there's really no good way to do this, I don't think. But I think having a not a set X multiple on the HODL and having it instead of basically a fluid X based on where you think Bitcoin's going to be going, I think that might be the way to do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we can talk about it some more if you guys want. But I think that might be the way that I do this going forward for these miners here, is if I think Bitcoin's going to like 200,000, I'll give them a 2x from where we are right now. As Bitcoin goes up in value, that X multiple will decrease in time as we get closer to the 200,000, because at that point, could Bitcoin still go to like 250,000? Sure, but we're going to be pretty close to that possible valuation instead of going way above beyond that. So if Bitcoin gets to 200,000 and we're valuing him still at 2x, we're thinking that Bitcoin's going to 400,000, which is probably not the case. So that's just kind of the way I look at it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think on that. If I'm crazy, if I'm off my rocker, completely off or something like that. But let me know what you guys would. How would you guys value these guys on HODL, right? I don't think a 1x is fair enough. I think something in the middle where it's a floating value, depending where Bitcoin is at current price and where you think it's going to go to possibly. Okay. So that's it on that one. As far as what I want to talk to you guys on it, let's get into the miners here really quick as well, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So first one at bat is going to be Bitdeer here. Bitdeer announces their December production update along with everybody else here. They self-mined 145 Bitcoin. They have the seal miner right now. It's in mass production. 3.7 exahash mining rigs remain on track with 300 petahash powered on and 300 petahash delivered for installation, 600 petahash in transit to data centers, and 2.5 in production exahash. The seal miner A2 production is approximately 35 exahash right through Q3, remaining on track. First trial batch of air cooling rigs are expected to be delivered to our mining data centers for testing in January 2025. So they have a lot of good stuff happening for them. Seal miner A3, initial tape out sample wafers with an expected chip efficiency of 10 are expected in Q1. And seal miner 4, which is going to be down to 5 joules per terahash, anticipated tape out in Q3 of later on this year. With HPC AI, they still have discussions ongoing with multiple development partners and potential end users for selected sites. Their Bitdeer AI cloud services powered by NVIDIA DGHI SuperPods with H100 systems maintained on average a utilization rate of approximately 90% for the month. So that's pretty good there. We have no revenue streams for that though. Hosting, they talk about hosting here a little bit, that decreased, but hash rate increased because of newer machines being plugged in. Infrastructure, you guys can look over that. Financing as well, they paid off a balance of 10 million of senior secured notes, so that's good. A little bit of management commentary, basically regurgitating the same stuff that's up top. And then production and operation summary here. Self-mining was 8.5, so that is a slight increase over 8 from 8.2 that they had in November. Going down here, what else do we have here? Bitcoin mined, or Bitcoin, 145. Bitcoin's held now is 594, so that's an increase from the 443 that they had the prior month as well. And I think that's it. There's a bunch of stuff about the different sites here. You guys are more than welcome to read that as well at your leisure. I'm not going to go into it here, but that's basically it here. So let's take a look at Bitdeer here really quick, and we'll get through everybody else here. So Bitdeer has about 143 million shares outstanding. Market cap is at 2.8 billion right now. The performance of the last 12 weeks has been outstanding, as you guys know. They came pretty much out of nowhere. Their hash rate is still pretty small and everything else, but I think it's their future growth in 2025 that's been driving this stuff up, along with maybe some HPCI potential there. But they're up 200% from 12 weeks ago, 153 from 8 weeks ago, 24% from 4 weeks ago, and last week they're up 10%. So they've had a fantastic run here in the last 3 months, basically. Current hash rate about 8.5. Future I have right now at about 11 potentially for them. Bitcoin HODL is 594. That's valued at 56 million. That is only 1.98% of their market cap right now. So not a large portion at all. BTC mined here has been coming down as they haven't been really switching out for newer miners recently here. So that's been coming down here. Revenue has been increasing because Bitcoin price has been going up. Their HODL has been increasing as they have reported here. Hash rate has been, like I said, kind of flat or coming down a little bit. They've been moving stuff around from their self-mining to the other portion of the business, which is, I can't ever remember that part of it, cloud hash rate, right? They move stuff around between those two things as well. And let's see, what else do we have here? We got that BTC sold. It looks like they only sold about, it doesn't look like they even sold anything. They bought maybe 6 here, based on my numbers here. Maybe my numbers are off a little bit. BTC per exahash efficiency, 17.1 is actually pretty good here for them. Going down here, we'll look at some of the institutions. Institutions did increase a little bit here to 113. Shares went up also to 17.6 million, so it's now 20% owned by institutions. We still have the 8 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sells. Price targets, oh my gosh, those things went sky high here. $39 for the high now, $22.84 for the average, and $14 for the low on it. And sorry about my kids and my pet dog upstairs. They're playing around right now. I got to remind them not to play when I'm recording or doing the live streams because I can hear everything. I'm sure you guys can hear that too as well, especially when they're stomping their feet. But that's kids. And that's me being down here in my little dungeon of a basement with no insulation to counter this sound. For month of December here, I had them mining at 27.83 days. 384,000 was added as transaction fees in there as well. And then their hosting part of the business was added down there as well. For a total of getting us to approximately 386 million run rate based on December numbers. Right, so that gets me to about $20 to $30 a share right now. They're at 1971, and this is as of yesterday. I forgot to update this today. I didn't update this, so this is as of yesterday for all these guys. I'll get that updated, but I'm done with the stream here, and I'll give that to you guys, Patreon members. But even at that point, they still look a little bit undervalued right now compared to where they should be, so they're getting definitely more valued properly here. And then if you look at institutions have them at 39, so I'm giving a P of 15. It looks like institutions might be giving a P of 20 or something like that right now. That gets me closer to where the institutions are looking at. Right, 39 for the high. I got a 40 here, and the low would be 14, which is really low, actually. I think it's too low for them. But they're getting more fairly valued from where they were in the past, which is good. I'd like to see the other miners get fairly valued as well, but you know, these guys definitely got it, and it's great. The only thing I can say for Bitdeer going forward is continue to execute on the ASICs production, get those things out. Love to see some sell numbers for that as well. What are they selling them? And love to see some more data on those machines. But that's it. They got a lot of huge pipeline going forward as well. So all good things should be happening here for Bitdeer going forward. A lot of the growth I think is going to be more towards the second half of the year in 2025. Okay. So that's it on Bitdeer. Let's get into the next one here, which is going to be on Hive. Hive here, again, December production update here. Bitcoin mined was 103. Their balance now of HODL is 2,805. They reached a peak BTC only hash rate of 6 exahash, which is what I have them at right now. Going down here, they provided a lot of the stuff that we already covered in an earlier video of last week when they reported they got to 6 exahash, and they're also moving to San Antonio, Texas as their headquarters there, which is all great news there. So that's kind of rehashing the same stuff there. Nothing else really here on top of that. They're still targeting global hash rate of 13 exahash by the end of the second calendar quarter of 2025 with the completion of the initial 100, and they're aiming for 15 exahash by the end of 2025. So that's still on target there for them. Okay, let's take a look at their numbers here. So Hive has about 118 million shares outstanding, market cap 371. They are the lowest priced, larger sized miner that I track here. Their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been great here. They've been up only 11% here in the last week. Other than that, everything else is in the red for them. Current hash rate 6 exahash, future hash rate at about 10 right now for what they have reported as being bought right now. And then their HODL is 2.8 thousand roughly. That's 265 million there. That is 71% of their market cap. That's just crazy to me right now, that they are just not being valued on their operations, which their operations are great. Bitcoin production has been flat, but it hasn't been decreasing tremendously. They've been kind of keeping up with the network hash rate more or less, with a slight decline there, but not much. Monthly revenue has been also increasing here. They're at 10 million now. Their best month was in March with 15 million. Bitcoin HODL has been growing nicely here over the past 12 months. And then total hash rate has also been increasing here nicely, slowly but nicely. They were at 4 at the beginning of December of last year. They're at 6 now. They increased by about 2 exahash. So not a lot of growth, and maybe that's the reason why they're not being valued properly on that. Bitcoin per exahash efficiency, always really efficient here, 17.06. They sold about 11 Bitcoin here. That was about 1 million there. Going down here to institution side of things here, those stayed the same at 144. Number of shares did increase here a little bit here to 37.6 million. And percentage owned actually went down here, 29.05. So I'm guessing there's some dilution happening there. We still have 4 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 underperforms, or 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target stayed the same for the high at $10. Average went up a little bit, or actually down to $7.79. And the low stayed the same at $6 for that one. Going down here for December, I had them mining for approximately 27.8 days out of the month. I did take out some of these older machines here, which they've been saying that they've been switching out, right? Some of those 110 terahash, 120, 100 terahash, 120, 136 terahash machines, installing some of these newer, more efficient miners down here. So that's a result of that. That got us to the 10.118 million in general for them. And if we look at that number times 12 here, I have them between 767 and 1151. They are, as of yesterday, they were $3.13. They're down a little bit more today. But yeah, definitely way undervalued in my opinion from where they probably really should be valued at, right? And that's pretty close to what the analysts are also thinking, between $10 and $6 here. So that's pretty close, right, to what I'm seeing as well on it. What can I say about Hive? Hive is great operations. I wish, like I keep saying, I wish they were more enthusiastic about growth, or more ambitious about growth than what they're planning for next year. But they're still growing, which is good to see, especially getting to 15 exahash by the end of this year. It's going to be good. It's not great, but it's going to be good on that one. Okay, so that's it for Hive. Let's get into Hut 8 really quick here. We'll get into you guys' Q&A as well. So Hut 8 here, production update for December. They did get an approval. I think it was reported on Monday. They got approval from the city or the province in Louisiana there to build out the data center for about $2 billion there. We talked about that at that point. They are looking here also to, let me see here, where is it at? Here it is. Let's see. They're talking about development here, as well as our 205 megawatt Vega site, where we expect to implement our rack-based Tier 1 data center architecture to power ASIC compute with direct-to-chip liquid cooling at densities of up to 200 kilowatts per rack. This project creates a path to approximately 24 exahash per second of self-mining hash rate with an average fleet efficiency of 15.7 joules per terahash as early as Q2, assuming we exercise our purchase option for hosting machines at that site. So we'll see if they do that. Other than that, they're going to be lower hash rate than that. But I'm guessing they might do that. We'll see. It would be, I think, in their advantage to do that, though. Highlights here, construction of Vega advancing on track for energization in Q2. Image above is actually image below here. Upgrading infrastructure at existing sites to prepare for delivery of new miners, completed transition of operations at Ionic Digital site in Texas, and progressed AI data center development opportunities across development pipelines. So a lot of good stuff happening here. And then this is their Vega site here being built out. On that one, going down here, I can't highlight any of this stuff because it's an actual image that they use here, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But we do have here, total hash rate under measurement is 13.2. Total energy capacity under measurement is 665 megawatts. Total deployed miners under management, 121,000. Deployed miners for self-mining is 53,000. Deployed hash rate, 5.5 exahash. They got 89 Bitcoin there, sorry. Bitcoin held in reserve is 10,171. And managed services, 9.4 exahash. Hosting is 7.7 exahash on top of it. There's their whole pipeline of things that are happening. All their sites that they manage, host, and do all the good stuff. Going down here, the footnotes here, as always. Here, number 11. Bitcoin produced net of 50% of share of King Mountain JV held by Hut 8's joint venture partner was 74 BTC during December and 79 BTC. So I'm using the 74 BTC number there based on that. And I think that is it. A lot of footnotes here for them. They've got a lot of sites and a lot of things happening in different places. So it's always a kind of challenge to track them properly. But yeah, that is it there. Let's get into Hut 8 we'll get into Q&A. So HODL has about 93 million shares. Stock market is at, or market cap is at 2.3 billion roughly. They've had a nice run up here since 12 weeks ago, 67%. Then from 8 weeks, they're down actually 4.4. From 4 weeks, they're down 11. Last week, they were up 8.2, which was nice. Current hash rate, 5.5 exahash. Future hash rate, based on what I have here for them, is about 9.3. With the addition of the other machines that they have an option to purchase there, that would definitely get them higher as well. Bitcoin HODL 10,171. That's 962 million there. That's 41% of their market cap right now as it is. Bitcoin production here has been kind of flat. You could see kind of bouncing between 110, 107, down to like 87, 85 to 89. It's been kind of all over the place here. Not much growth here happening in their Bitcoin mining side of things. Monthly Bitcoin BTC revenue with JV was 8.74 million. BTC HODL 10,171. We talked about that. Oops, went too far. That was monthly revenue there. Hash rate with JV 5.5. That's just actually, I think, their own hash rate there. I could be wrong on that. BTC sold, they didn't buy it, or they didn't sell anything. They actually bought 960 Bitcoin here, it looks like, on top of what they mined. And then BTC per exahash efficiency 13.45, really low on the scale. And they've been pretty low for quite a few months here. Bitcoin sold value, they didn't sell. They actually purchased, like I said here, going down here to institutions. 260, slight increase on that one. Shares also increased a little bit here to 58 million. That's now 62% of the company is owned by institutions. We did get an increase in the number of strong buy ratings now to 5 from 3. Same thing with buy ratings to 4 from 3. We have 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target also really high here, $41 for them. That's a nice increase there as well. Average is $34.44 now, so that's up, in the low stayed at $28 for them. On that one, we'll take a look at the numbers here in a second here, and then I had them operating for about 27 days out of the month here on the machines here that they have, 5.5 exahash, based on what we know right now. So given that, taking that number times 12, plus I'm including the managed services from the last quarter reports, and multiplying times 12, so including all those numbers in there as well. And I got them to 188 million right now in revenue for the next 12 months potentially, based on the value of Bitcoin where it's at right now. And then that gets me to about $15.08 to $22.63. They're at $24.85. I'd say that they are overvalued. I'm not sure why institutions or analysts are getting them at $41. I think they're looking at maybe the HPCI potential and giving them the benefit of the doubt there that that's going to be really profitable potentially. That's the only thing I can think of, because based on what they're generating right now, I just don't see it. I could be wrong on that also, but you guys let me know what you guys think on it. I think they are definitely, just based on the revenue itself, for what they got, other companies are generating a heck of a lot more, but they're not being valued on it. So just to me, it doesn't make any sense right now. But that's just me. I could be wrong. All right. The only thing I can say for HODL 8 is to continue to build out their self Bitcoin mining, get some good HPCI deals happening there as well, and stock should do good. Okay. But yeah, they definitely have to improve on their old generation fleet there for self mining. That's the big thing there, I think. Okay. Yeah, let's leave it at that. As always, Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets as always. Link is down in the description for that. You guys know the drill. $8 a month, $4 and $5 spots might be open. Grab those, you get a nice discount. All right, that's my sales pitch. Let's get into the Q&A side of things, and give me, as always, with questions. Preface those with a Q, and I'm going to work my way up and work my way down as always, and we'll get through all those as fast as we possibly can. I'm going to go probably halfway in and start working my way down a little bit here. Trying to see if there's any questions up top. Okay. Okay, we'll just start here with Dad's Market Stats. So a question, KULR has purchased 430 Bitcoin and their components are used to help the heat transfer of NVIDIA chips. Could they be the next MicroStrategy? I didn't even hear about that, but no, unless they start buying a lot more. They need to buy, like 10,000 more of those types of buys to get to where MicroStrategy is at right now, I think. So I don't think that, but they could definitely catch a nice little bit up on it because of it. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Bear with me while I go through searching for questions. Okay, let's see. You guys are having a heated debate here on Bitcoin. Okay, let's see. Hank is definitely a bull here. Hank, nice to see you, buddy, in the chat. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to find a question here. There's a lot of comments. Okay, here we go. Question, submission, how low do you think BTC will drop right now? Right now? Like, oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, right now it's at 93,000. It's down 1%. I'm really leaning towards thinking that we might go down to like 85, 75,000 before everything is said and done. I'd love to be wrong on that. Right? I never want Bitcoin to drop, but it always does drop whenever we don't want it to. So if we do get that, I bought on, when did I buy? When did I buy? I bought yesterday or the day before. I can't remember now. Jeez, the days are flying by. I know I bought earlier this week some stocks. I'm going to buy some more. If we dip even further, I'm going to buy more. I didn't spend everything all at once. I knew that we might come down a little bit more, so I'm okay with it. All right, let's see. See, Gary here. Question, I think the 2x value is stupid. Miners have never received a 2x for HODL. Comments was made by an employee of Mara. Should HODL be valued at 0.5x in a bear market? Yeah, the HODL value, well, yeah, as it's going down, the FASB rules will kick in as well. You're going to get marked down on it as well, right? So it should be both ways. I think that if you think Bitcoin's going up 2x from where it is right now, I think that might be fair to value it at 2x for future growth, right? But then as it gets closer to that, I think it has to be definitely reduced. You can't value it at 2x the whole time. And then as well as Bitcoin's coming down, you can value it at that. I think if Bitcoin's at 200,000, you value it at 1x basically. As Bitcoin comes down, then you start valuing it lower as well, I would think. It should work both ways, up and down. Okay. All right, question. Will the Democrats sell all the Bitcoin reserves on their way out the door? Yeah, I saw that there was, 4 point some odd billion or something like that. That's being set up to be sold potentially. Who knows? They could do it just to be, a pain in the rears. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let's see here. Northern Wisdom says, question, today marks 1 year since Tracy Crim's appointment as head of IR at Bitfarms. There is no visible accomplishments from old school IR when operating ATM strategy isn't key to actively support the stock. Is that a question or comment? Let's see. When operating ATM strategy isn't key, actively support. Is that a question though? Oh, that's a question. More of a comment. Yeah, the investor relations, I'm sure you can reach out to them and they'll probably be more likely to respond back to you. But when it comes to like social media and things like that, yeah, that's it hasn't been great. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. What else do we have here? Question, if Bitfarms, Bitcoin is at 184,000 on March 1st at 3:32 p.m. What would the price of Cleanspark be at 10:40 a.m. on July 13th? Please convert to Mexico pesos. Yeah, it will be $48.48 at that point. And Mexico pesos, it'll be 69,000. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Okay. Why doesn't Bitdeer just use the machines they produce itself instead of selling them? They could make more profits. They do. They use them. So they use them for their own use, and they also sell them at the same time, right? I think they're trying to build out, gain some market share in that field where Bitmain right now is the dominant player. So if they can get some business out of that, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry there, that's going to generate more profits for them as well. Right? Build them machines at $1,000 a piece or whatever it might be, sell them for $3,000-4,000 a piece or whatever it's going to be. I mean, you're making pretty good profits at that point as well. Let's see. Question, what should Mara be valued at per share based on your info right now? Right now? Higher from where they are right now, I believe. Looking at my numbers here, I think they should be, let's take a look at it here. I think that right now, more or less, fair value should be between 32 and like $50 right now. Right, they're at $19 right now as it is. Mainly because if you look at the revenues here just for the last month of December, multiply it times 12 going forward, so future revenue potential, I got them at $1 billion revenue in this year, $1 billion revenue run rate, right? And it's just not being valued there. Their HODL is 70% of their market cap right now, right? It's just crazy. So I don't think they're being fairly valued on that. But that's kind of where I would see them being fairly valued right now. So definitely undervalued in my opinion. All right, going back here. What else do I have here? Let's see. Let's see here. Sebastian, do you really care if Bitcoin reaches 135,000 before March or not at all? I mean, I do care in a sense, right? We need Bitcoin to start going up for the miners to do well as well. So I do care. Now, if it goes to 135,000 by the end of, I guess it still wouldn't be too bad. It'd be basically, from where it's at right now, roughly, 40% increase? That'd be actually pretty good over a couple months. I would take that, and it might be a sign that we might be going into an extended cycle. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay. What would be the biggest single catalyst to drive Bitcoin higher? I think, excuse me, United States getting it on the strategic reserve would be one. Other countries doing it as well, I think, would be the other part of it. Let's see. Bill's fan says, bull run is over. Go back to your shanties. I'm already in my shanty. I'm in my basement already. How much lower can I go? What else we got here? Let's see. In the in the center of the chaos and BTC and miners jumping. Yay. Question: are good news for miners coming soon? We're hoping that it does. Yeah. Let's see your question. Hi Seb, how do you decide when to buy? Do you have any strategy? Also, I noticed that you have XRP, LTC in your crypto portfolio. How did you decide to buy them? Anything else on the radar? Do I have? I don't think I have XRP in there. I have Cardano, but not XRP. If I put that in there, that's my mistake. I never had XRP. I never got into XRP. I never got into the thesis of it that it would take over Swift. Like banks could just do their own thing. So I just never got into it. But Litecoin, I still have a little bit left, and that was from mining it. Let's see, how do I decide my strategy when to buy? I know more or less of what I can put in a month. And if I see a dip, I'll buy a little bit of it. I won't buy the whole amount for it. And then if I get another dip, I'll buy into the dip again. That's kind of been my strategy here, is just been buying the dips while things are still relatively inexpensive for these mining stocks. And then with the thesis of Bitcoin going up much higher, right? And at that point, they should do much better. But I've been buying the dip here since the start of 2022. It's been a long buying spree dip. But we're not done yet. Is there anything else on my radar? Not right now. No, just the miners, Bitcoin, that's about it. Okay. One asks, Sebas, do you believe our Riot will reach $100 on 2021 BTC was at 60,000 Riot to reach $80? Imagine BTC 150,000. Yes, but we've also had a lot more dilution. So I'm thinking if we can get to like $60, $80, I think that would be even great. But if Bitcoin goes up more than what we think, more, beyond 200,000, then maybe you could possibly do that. Gary asks here, you think the reason why Bitfarms can't run in 2025 is due to Riot owning 20% of their shares? That could be a possibility, right? That overhang there. Them still being being a Canadian miner, not headquartered in the United States. If they could do that as well, that would be great. So there might be a couple of things that are keeping it from maybe mooning as much as we think it will. Okay, let's see. Question: with Bitcoin being at high prices, you would think global hash rate would skyrocket and more machines plugged in, but it is plunging. What are your thoughts? Is it plunging though? It's not really plunging. I wouldn't say it's plunging. Let's take a look at it. Is this the one that I want? Nope, this is the one that I want. Let's see here. Let's go to screen here. This is the 7-day average here on it. All right, it's come down here a little bit, but it's not that bad. It's at still 792 exahash right now. They got to a high of 817, and you see those fluctuations from time to time. But overall, if you look at the trend, it's continuing to go up. ever since we bottomed out here in June after the halving event, but it's been going up here. If you look at the 30-day average as well, I mean, what do you see here? It's just been continuation of it going up. Again, except with the exception of dip here a little bit after the halving event, where older machines were not as profitable anymore. But I mean, after that, it's been going up. So a little dip here and there, yeah, we do see it from time to time, but eventually it does go up even higher. And then, I mean, look at this, 3 years, where we were 3 years ago at, gosh, we were at 200 exahash on that. I mean, we got now a couple of the miners combined are like 200 exahash combined. So, I mean, it's just crazy growth in the hash rate that we've seen here over the last couple of years. And if we go all the way back, I mean, look at that. It is just like a parabolic rise here in hash rate over time. So that's going to continue to happen as more machines get plugged in. We might have a little bit of a lull here. Excuse me, gosh, I'm sorry. My throat's giving me out. Hold on a second. I had to cough and get the phlegm out after being sick. All this stuff is coming out. But I think a lot of the miners have learned the cycles, right? That you want to build out in the bear market, be prepared for the bull run, take it easy in the afterwards the bull run, and then prepare again for the next bear market and build out at that point. So that's kind of the way I see things right now. So I don't see that stopping anytime soon here, especially when we get miners. Bitdeer is talking about miners going down to 5 joules per terahash. People are going to be buying those things at that point, right? It's just going to be a continuation war on hash rate. It's going to continue. Nothing's going to stop that going forward. Let's see. Going back to here. All right. What else do we have here? Trying to find a question. Okay. Patrick asked a question. If they sell Silk Road BTC on way out before Trump in office, it will be that much harder to achieve BTC reserve? No, not really. Right. I think the sentiment, or at least the support, is there and it's growing. I mean, you're seeing it just in the states level alone by itself. You're seeing it also with congressmen and congresswomen and senators and all that stuff. I think the support is growing over time here, and it's going to continue to grow that way. Okay. Question here. Let's mention, what are the chances that BTC will get in reserves? I think the chances are pretty good. I don't know exactly what the percentage would be, but I think that they're pretty good. They have a lot of good people there that are pro crypto. So it might happen. I give it more than 50%. I'll just say that. Okay. What would make you start to panic and think the miners won't run again this cycle? If we go down 40% from where we topped at. So if we got to 108,000, right? If we go down 40% or something like that, which historically trying to think if historically we've done that. I don't think we have. I think the most we've gone down was like 35%, 36%, something like that. But if we go down 40%, that might be something different there. So that might make me rethink things. Then we might have topped at 108, but right now I still don't see that. Let's see. What are your predictions for the global hash rate by mid-year and end of year of 2025? So I was pretty close to this year, end of this year, right? I said 800 to 900 exahash. We got to 775, 780 or something like that on the 30-day average. So we got pretty close on that. I think I need a little bit more time to see what the miners are planning on doing for this year as far as what their targets are. We know that a lot of these guys are still have a lot of growth here in them, but it's not going to be as huge of a growth that we saw this year. So I just need to see what's going on in the market as far as where they're trending, and I can kind of extrapolate from that where the hash rate could possibly grow. But I think we'll probably be somewhere just right now based on what we're doing. I could see us getting to, we're at 800 roughly right now. By the end of the year, I could see us being probably closer to like 1100 exahash to like 1200 exahash right now, just thinking out loud without actually doing any number crunching on it. Okay, question here. If miners stop diluting for convertible notes, will the share price stop dropping so much in a bear market? No, the shares will still drop because Bitcoin price goes down. Their revenues are going to go down. They're going to go down in price. That's not going to do anything for it, I don't think. Okay, question here. If BTC reserves will get BTC to 250,000, what catalyst will drive it to 1 million? I think time and just further adoption by further institutions, further countries, states, maybe, who knows, cities, municipalities, whatnot. Just further adoption, I think, is going to drive it over time. Okay, let's see. Do you think Biden is selling the USA Bitcoin as a going away present for Americans as he leaves office? Might be. That's a bad present to sell, though. That's not something you want to sell. It's something you want to hold on to. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here as far as questions. Let's see here. Bill's fan says, Seb, you realize this is nothing more than gambling, but on a very slow bleed. Go put it all on black one and spin and get it over with. That's kind of what I did. I put it on the ones that I thought were going to do well. I don't think we're done and over with yet with the cycle. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're getting into, investing is a form of legalized gambling, basically. I mean, you're gambling that the company's going to do well. In return, you're going to reap the rewards on it, right? So you do have a little bit more insight into it. I think the miners provide even more insight as far as how they're operating, because we get to see the monthly updates, and they're usually pretty open about what they're doing, so we can see how they're progressing and all this stuff. But they got plans. But yeah, it's just been a little weird here recently. Okay. Question. The XRP business to flow model shows how XRP will get to 3,000, then 13,000, and even to 122,000. It's a must-have coin forever. Here's the link. Check it out. Okay. I'll take a look at it, but what's it done in the last couple of years? I know it's been under a lot of pressure by getting lawsuits and everything else that's been keeping it down. I know it's up to, I don't even know where it's at now, above $1, I think, right now. But other than that, it's been like a pennies. I still can't get behind it, but I'll take a look at it. Let's see. Price prediction of Bitfarms after getting Stronghold will be in Q1. Yes, it will be in Q1 that they're supposed to do that finalization of the buyout there, or the takeover. Price prediction at that point. Oh man, I still think that they're way undervalued from where they really should be. So I'm going to say somewhere between like $3 and $4 maybe. Okay. Question. Do you think public miners would be interested in buying Bitdeer's 5 joules per terahash miners? That would be the best efficiency in the market. I think they would be, but I think they want to probably see some time on those things, right? Or historical, how well do they perform over a year, a 2-year, 3-year period, right? These are brand new miners. Yes, the founders there of Bitdeer were part of Bitmain in the past, so they should be making pretty good miners there. But you still need to have that verification there, I think. So they're going to be slow to get into it, I think, until they get some time put in on those things and see how they do, actually. But you can't also rule out that like Bitmain's not going to be targeting that as well, especially since Bitmain knows now that they're trying to get to 5 joules per terahash. They're going to definitely try to do that as well. Do you think Silk Road coins get sold? I would say no, but you never know. It could be something that they do out of spite. Okay. When will Elizabeth Warren to buy into BTC? I think she's secretly hodling. Yeah, man, that would be a sell signal if she starts buying Bitcoin, right? It's kind of like, have we topped at that point? Yeah, should we watch Pelosi buying BTC? Yeah, I mean, Pelosi has outdone everybody else in the market here, I think, historically or recently. Let's see. Question. With the current growth rate of IREN to 50 exahash by the first half of 2025, what do you think they will announce next for year end? Yeah, I don't know. They could possibly try to get to like maybe 75 exahash or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of one of the things I'm hoping that they provide, at least on their quarterly results, right? What is their growth targets for this year? That would be great. Okay. Okay, I'm confused as to why IREN's attractive with no HODL over Cleanspark, Mara, or Riot. Operations, growth have been fantastic as well. So, and then they have the HPCI potential there as well. So that's kind of why. Okay. Let's see here. Hi Seb, when we see a turnaround from this bloodbath last 6 to 8 months, miners are in the same price range. Thanks for your inputs anyways. Yeah, the miners have been, I mean, some miners have done great. Some miners have not, right? The ones that we thought were going to do great have not. The ones that we didn't think were going to do that great did great, mainly because of HPCI. But it also is because the miners that didn't do so well, that we thought were going to do well, was because of the halving event. So that always is bad for them. Always 5-6 months after the halving event, it's always never good. I mean, we should be running up here a little bit, but they're still up from where they were, at their bottoms. So I think we need to be patient. I'm still being patient. I think we're not through with this bull run yet. Okay, let's see your question. Out of all the other miners, Bitfarms feels like such a scam. If I were to sell Bitfarms at a loss, which other miner would you suggest at this current moment? At this current moment, I would say based on the metrics that I have for the enterprise value on these guys, there's quite a few of them that are just way undervalued on this. I mean, if you look at it this way, based on what their future potential is going to be like, I would say if you get out of Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, IREN, Marathon would be good picks there. Hive even potentially. Hive I think is a little bit more limited in what they can do. But the other guys here that have a lot of hash rate, they're going to be generating a crap ton of profits if Bitcoin does go up to 150,000, 200,000, whatever it might be. I mean, they're profitable as it is right now. But those seem to be like they're more undervalued than the rest, and those might do better going forward. But time will tell. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? And let's see. All right. Talked about that one. Let's see your question. Hypothetical question. If you were to switch management teams of IREN and Mara, which company will perform the best? Okay, so what do you mean switch the management team there? So put Mara's management team into IREN and IREN's management team into Mara. Which company will perform the best? Based on, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know on that one. If you were to switch, which company will perform the best? I don't know. I do not know. I would still think maybe based on, that's a tough question. I don't know. See here. Old man has apparently Meta has plans to build out a 10 billion data center in St. Francis Parish in Louisiana, but they won't have the power infrastructure until 2030. I think HUT and DA might be related. Okay, that might be it. But if they're part of that, right, and not until 2030, HUT is talking about having that be built out in this year, which I think is overly optimistic, I think. I would say maybe at the earliest middle of 2026, if not towards the end of 2026, unless they already ordered all the long lead items out. But yeah, I don't know. But 2030 seems way out there for them to get. They might power infrastructure until that's 5 years from now. That's long. That seems a little bit too long for me. Let's see here. Hank, also, thank you so much for coming in here and chatting as well. Have a great night, buddy. Let's see. Hot 8 has power available end of 2025. Does it make sense they will do a 5-year lease with Meta? Maybe, right? I'm sure they wouldn't be going towards this if they didn't have something in mind with somebody potentially. Right? Because where are you going to get $2 billion to? I mean, you really need somebody there to help fund it, or at least to lease it from you or buy it from you, whatever it might be. But yeah. Woodstock, thank you so much. Have a good night. Okay. Let's see. Have you bought other mining stocks besides what you've already owned? Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms. Yeah, I've also bought and sold Hive in the past. And then I've also owned here recently this past year CORZ as well, which I sold at a nice profit. All right, let's see. IREN is a 10x from their low of 02, whereas the HODL miners, Mara, Cleanspark, and Riot are only like 5x from the bottom. double performance with no HODL. Why do people still believe in HODL deserve a premium? Yeah, good question. That's kind of the thing that we're talking about here. Should HODL get a premium? I don't know. I think it should, in a sense, if you believe that Bitcoin's going to like 200,000. At that point, I think a 2x premium is okay. But you got to bring that premium down as Bitcoin gets closer to that 200,000 mark. You can't just have it the whole time being 2x. I don't think that would be the right way to do it. Okay, but that's it. Let's call it a day. I think I've answered all your guys' questions here. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow there is no trading on the stocks. So in observance of former presidents passing. So we'll see what happens with the miners. Well, we won't see anything with the miners. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin, but we won't see anything with the markets or anything like that. Then we'll take a look at the miners. How did they perform in comparison to each other for December? We'll run some numbers on that, some metrics, and we will see on that. And then last question here is from Hotwater. Does it seem like miners like Cleanspark and IREN prices are all dependent on the next quarter report, or do you think the miners will have a run up before the quarter report? I think they might run up before the quarter report as long as Bitcoin goes up. But yeah, it does seem like they're waiting on the Q4 results, which were going to be pretty good here, considering. Let's see here. Boris Real Estate, hey, been watching you for a while. Just subscribed today. Good work. Thank you. Appreciate it so much, and welcome on board. All right, guys, we'll call it a day. Well done. What's up? Thank you. Appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll get back into the swing of things as well. We'll talk about, like I said, the miners for December, and that's basically it. All right, love you all. I hope you guys have a great night. Be patient out there, and try to be positive.